The Wandering Inn Book 3. Okay. Oh, man, I love The Wandering Inn right now. I'm addicted. I know if you watch my bi-weekly reader, you'll have noticed that I'm on book 5 right now. Actually, correction, as of last night, I finished book 5. So, I'm trying to use the time that I have right here to just go ahead and record all the videos that I want to review all 3 of the books that I just read. This is going to be the first of the 3. So, book 3 of The Wandering Inn, Flowers of Esthelm. Holy shit. This was amazing. I'm going to try and not spoil anything. So there's just going to be mild spoilers, character names, and a couple location names. So this book continues to develop all the things that we were given in the first 2 books. With the, whatchamacallit, oh shit. Fuck! What's her name? What's their name? With the Fae continuing to be a more intriguing and interesting character. I can't remember, character set. Is it character set? Well, species. They continue to evolve from the past volume. And I loved the way that Erin she's displaced in this volume, in this book. And with this book, we get such an amazing, Stranger in a Strange Land. Erin gets taken from where she normally is and goes to a different place. And we get to see how she interacts with the world there. And it's really refreshing to see how she's going to interact with this new environment. I loved that so much. And another aspect that this book really hones in on is the effects of war, the effects of violence, and how it affects both sides, the attackers and the victims. And how can true violence affect the people around it, the people affected by it. And it does such a wonderful, wonderful job of that. I really, really loved this book, and I can't go into too much detail without going into spoilers, so I gotta jump into spoilers already. So, in about 3, 2, 1, spoiler time, scram. Okay, so one of my favorite moments in this entire book was the section towards the end where Erin realizes that Torrhen has been going around chopping people up, hacking them, and how she has to come to terms with, oh shit, I've made a monster. And I love the dichotomy of Erin she had no idea, but yet she was pretty much using him as a slave. And the entire time we see Torrhen in the earlier books, it's frustrating, because we are in Torrhen's head, especially with book 2 and volume 2. And it's like, no, don't! He's a human! He's thinking, and you're thinking to yourself, holy shit, this is not gonna end well. This is like Skynet. Except Torrhen does not have that much power, thank God. If we had a Skynet situation, the Wandering Inn world would be... They'd just be dead. There would be no choice. Everybody would be fucked over, and they're done. But I loved this book so much just because of her interacting with Selim and creating the place. That was actually my one thing I wasn't happy with. Fuck Shakespeare. No, there was no reason for that. I hate Shakespeare. His works are boring as hell. That's a hot take. I know that. but I believe in it. So, when we get, oh, let's play Romeo and Juliet. I love you, Aaron. I really do. But god damn it! I don't like Romeo and Juliet. I don't like Shakespeare. Please, no, thank you. But I did have to say, if there's anything I liked about it, it was that that she this was so stupid to me, how Aaron had to fuck, what's the word, oh yeah, how she changed it to like the Drakes and the Knowles, and I thought it was hilarious how she ended up doing that, and how she found, was it Celis? Was that her name? No. What's her name? It's not Celis. The Drake that was in the human place, that was in Selim. Please tell me in the comments if you remember her name, because I cannot remember her name for the life of me. And I loved that little storyline. And how... Do we get that in this volume? I'm trying to think. God damn it. I should have gone through the chapter list, but... well, it is... Wait, no, actually, it's important that I go through the chapter list. I'll be back in one moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Because the one thing I wasn't sure was if Eveleth showed up in this volume, or in this book. And she does, so that's good. I can talk about her. Eveleth was easily one of my favorite characters. Like, wow, I did not expect to become so attached to one of the Fae. And all the asshole Fae were like, no, fuck you! Bah! And then the Persua situation escalated so wonderfully in this book. And how she tried to kidnap Eveleth, and she's going, fuck you! Like, and the audiobook narrator did such a wonderful voice. I can't replicate it, but she had this amazing accent. It's this Scottish, imagine this, like, 12-year-old Scottish girl screaming curses at you. And that's what it sounded like when she's, like, shouting at Persua. And one of my favorite parts was when she, like, bit off, or she tried to bite off Persua's finger. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, Persua. I hate this bitch. And, it's absolutely delightful. This whole story, and Eveleth was wonderful. And another thing, Laken. So I forgot, I'd completely forgotten about Laken. But I loved Laken. It took me a minute to get into his stories, and I also think that Laken is definitely one of the weaker stories, in my opinion. But I loved Laken, and I loved the Emperor. Like, I am an Emperor! I loved that. Do I like him as much as any of the other characters? Not really. But he was still fantastic in his own right. Now, who really shined? Lionette. Oh, like, if there's any character who is a standout for this volume, or for this book, it was Lionette. I loved Lionette throughout this entire book. She was still that pretentious little shit at the very start. And I still hated her. Oh my god, she was driving me fucking nuts. But as we get more time with her, and she learned to be a more decent human being, and as she was treating Mersha, and how she's taking care of Mersha, and how they just are this wonderful, it felt like a lovely sister dynamic between the two of them, like this older sister, very young sister, and Mersha is just so cute, how she's just this pain in the ass to everyone, but she is a delight in any character. And how Celis brought Mersha to the inn, and she's like, and Mersha's like sniffing around everywhere trying to find Aaron or Ryoka, and Celis goes, okay, come on Mersha, let's go. But how none of them trusted Lionette, which let's be fair. It was an honest and real fair reaction. And getting to see so many of these characters just do such a wonderful job and see how they interact with Lionette and how none of them want to interact with the Lionette. But Olesimo, he's just this nice guy. He's like, fine, sure, but I do expect something out of this. Oh, another scene that drove me nuts. Wait, was that here? I don't know if that was here. So I'm going to keep that to myself. I'll talk about it in the next review. That's the problem. I'm never going to do this again. I'm going to make sure I never do this again in where I'm like, I read them back to back, especially because these two are so, like, they're part of one whole, and that's how I view it, because they're part of the greater volume, and since books 3 and 4 are part of volume 3 of The Wandering Inn, I just view them in my head as volume 3 of The Wandering Inn, or rather part 1 and 2 of volume 3 of The Wandering Inn. So it's kind of tough for me to separate the two volumes, so when I get into book 4 and have my review for that, I probably should have just done a volume 3 review, but too late. I think that my next review will be a lot easier for me to do, because I know the hard line of where stuff didn't happen before volume 4. But beyond that, I didn't know. Also, another section that was fantastic was the doctor sections. Geneva, I believe, was her name, and how she had to create this little organization, or maybe not like organization, but she made a little Red Cross tent for helping the victims of this war that was going on. I love how Geneva was placed into Beleros, which is also very well known as the most war-ridden continent of all of them. And I think Beleros was the perfect place for her to be placed in, since, yeah, she's a doctor, and that is her whole goal, is to help save lives. And this war takes it out of her. It's like, okay, come on, you got to work for it now. You have to really work for it. And seeing how she had to evolve and change, and how the leveling system had to help her be a better doctor, and how she had to interact with the world around her. It was absolutely phenomenal. I loved Geneva so much. Like, again, of course, as most POVs do, it took me a little bit of time, but she was fairly quick for me to just be, okay, I'm digging this. And how just delightful that whole section, or maybe not delightful is the right word, but it was wonderful trying to see how she had to fit in. How in this war-ridden continent, she's trying to save lives. And one of the best, and not just one side's lives, but everybody's lives. I'm not taking sides. I'm going to save everyone's life, as many people as I can. And how she came to be known as the Last Light. I loved that so much. And another thing that I thought was absolutely fantastic was how Geneva was hit by the mace, and then a Sylphid had to come in and was like, okay, I'm going to bring you, and I'm going to try to help you stay alive here. And that's like, oh my, such a unique and cool concept, but also disturbing as fuck. Like, we all have that, like, we've seen the demon inside you, but it's like these two are, number one, just friends, and they don't have much, like, in terms to grow for their relationship in that way. But, like, an actual creature inside your chest, like, that had... it feels so disturbing to me. Like, it runs a shiver down my spine. I'm going, oh my god. Like, imagine a creature inside you, and she's like helping you do stuff, and like she can control you a little bit. Like, ugh. I mean, I don't know what I'd think of that. Like, I still struggle to wrap my head around it, but it's like, it's a unique and amazing concept, but terrifying as fuck all at the same time. And the Horns of Hammerod is another thing. I need to talk about the Horns of Hammerod. The way they have those interactions, specifically Pisces and Saria, their interactions and how they constantly reference this past that they had at Wistrom and how something horrible happened there. Yes, I know what happened at Wistrom because that's in the next volume, or in the next book, and I'm going to talk about it when I get to that review. But oh my god, it was amazing. I loved how they constantly spoke to each other as if there was this rich history to each other. Like they lived beyond the pages. I think that's a thing that The Wandering Inn does amazingly well. They really feel, each of these characters really feels like they live beyond the page. Except for Erin. But I think for Erin, she is a fair exception. We are looking at her through this lens. And oh my god, I'm now realizing how good Book 4 talk is going to be. Anyways, this entire book was fantastic. I thought it had an absolutely... Oh, and I didn't even talk about Esthelm. Esthelm was amazing. Even though we had Torrhen. And Torrhen's view of the world was fantastic. Torrhen was this evil piece of shit. Oh my god. He would just kill people for the fun of it, and how he would just... I get why. I still don't like it. He is vile. And I loved how Erin had to come to that conclusion. Okay, he has to die. And I loved Pisces' reaction, too. How he had to go, okay, shit. We're gonna have to kill my most beloved creation. And how everybody responded to that. How Ivlan was going, oh, fuck that. What is wrong with you? And I loved Saria's response to it, too. How she tried to kill him. How she tried to strangle him. And then afterwards, she's like, no, it's fine. But I also think it spoke to layers there. It spoke to depth between these two characters. And I loved it. It was such a brilliant, wonderful story. And how the adventurers found Ryoka, and how Ryoka was like, oh yeah, no, don't worry about it, I'll take your stuff, and just, you're good. I'll take your stuff, and I'll get it appraised and whatnot. It was just a absolutely delightful aspect of the story. Man. What is there not to love about this book? I absolutely loved Book 3, and I cannot wait to talk about Book 4, because when I tell you that Book 4 was a step up, that was insane. Book 4, honestly, so far, I think, in terms of ranking, and I'm going to include Book 4 in this, it was Volume 1 at the bottom. I think Volume 3 right above that. Volume 2, or sorry, no. Sorry, not Volume 3. Book 1 at the bottom. Book 2, or sorry. Oh my god, I'm losing it. Book 1 at the bottom. Book 3 right above that. Book 2 above that, and then Book 4 right above that. And so Book 4 was peak Wandering Inn so far, not including Book 5. I'm not going to talk about Book 5 until I get to that review. And, I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll have my next review up sometime soon. Since this is Book 3, I think I'm going to be releasing this on a Wednesday. So, next video for Book 4 should be coming out this Friday. So it should be the next video I release. And then next week will either be Trader's Knot and my bi-weekly reader, or my bi-weekly reader and Book 5. So, you'll see. I have a couple reviews coming in, and that I'm going to be working on. As soon as I'm done with the book that I'm already reading, you'll see what it is in the bi-weekly reader. And I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I'll see you all next time.